The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, and IDIS High Definition Surveillance Systems. Hello and welcome to Zolder for round 3 of the Supercar Challenge powered by Pirelli. In this episode we report on both the races for the SuperGT and GTB divisions and see how everything works out for the title contenders. The fast GT cars comprise a smaller grid here than at Spa, but the main contenders are present, like Jeffrey van Hooijdonk here. He leads Super GT together with Nicolas van Dierendonck, his teammate. Their lead is just 7 points. They've yet to taste victory this season though, so Sellercloud Racing have changed tactics for the first race of the weekend. For the first time, Van Hooijdonk will do the opening stint, Van Dierendonck will finish the race. They've again picked a harder Pirelli compound which will wear less quickly, but it still means that Jeffrey's not able to push to the maximum in his stint. I've got to try and keep the tyres in perfect condition, he says. Of course, I could push really hard to build a big gap, but with worn tyres, Nicolas won't be competitive later in the race. So I'll be doing a clean race and we'll see how the result go. The most important thing is to finish here to get championship points. So it's up to Nicolas to complete the task. We'll have to see how it goes. Well, they've already earned their first points of the weekend because Van Hooijdonk starts from pole in Super GT. Second on the grid, Roger Graals in the SRT Viper GT3R, who lies second in the championship. Henry Zumbrink will start third in the blue Volvo S60 V8. In the first round at Zolder, he won on Sunday, but after all the bad luck in Spa-Francorchamps with 2 DNFs, he's hoping for a repeat of those earlier fortunes. Fourth on the grid, Berry van Elk in the Mosler MT900R, who currently lies third in the Super GT Championship, just 9 points off the leaders. Behind him, Milan Doncha, the 20-year-old who makes his debut in GT racing this year alongside Ferdinand Kuhl. They're fourth in the GTB Championship in the Davitec Engineering Corvette, and they've scored 2 points right away, with pole for both races at Zolder, but it wasn't easy, as Ferdinand Kuhl explains. I had to take quite a lot of risks to get pole. We're still a little down on engine power on the straights, so you have to compensate for that, but that's the way it is. At this track though, you can brake very late. The car's got perfect balance, and we got 2 great poles out of it. GTB points leaders are Belgians Patrick Lamster and Chris Coles, 6 points ahead of Simon Atkinson in the Lamborghini, as well as Vard Slice and Frederick Jonker with their BMW, 10 points ahead of Milan Doncha and Ferdinand Kuhl. On board with Patrick Lamster, rolling up towards the rolling start, led by Jeffrey van Hooijdonk. Roger Graals on the right there, outside the front row. Henry Zumbrink third. We ride with Berry van Elk in the Mosler. Then Milan Doncha on pole in GTB and Patrick Lamster alongside him. So rolling out of the final chicane, lights are on. Milan Doncha right up behind the Volvo. Lamster backs off a little and away we go. Patrick Lamster in the Porsche getting a good run in the hot air behind the Volvo. Maybe the Corvette didn't get the power it needed. Leaders into turn 1 at Erste Linkse, and through comes Milan Doncha, retakes the lead in GTB. He had the inside line the whole time. Gets the Corvette to the apex at Stanwachtbocht. And orange and black in the mirror. Look, Patrick Lamster under pressure once more from Simon Atkinson. He goes by into second place, taking some points away from his championship rivals. Early on the battling all in GTB and Super GT, Jeffrey van Hooijdonk away with 20 result seconds compared to 25 for Roger Graals and 0 for Henry Zumbrink. He has to make sure he's 20 seconds ahead of Zumbrink to keep the lead after the pit stops. Roger Graals also had to create a lead to Henry Zumbrink, but he failed to do so, complaining about steering issues. The team checked the tyre pressure at the front, slow puncture, so a quick change by the team. Well spotted, otherwise they might have lost a lot of time with a puncture. They're going to lose time anyway. Jeffrey van Hooijdonk had a big lead coming in, and with the Viper's much longer pit stop, Nicolas van Dierendonck goes back out in the Corvette with a handy advantage. In the GTB battle, Milan Doncha can't shake off the Lamborghini driver Simon Atkinson. Atkinson briefly took the lead in the race, but because he won in Spa, he's got 15 result seconds, 5 more than the Corvette drivers. Milan Doncha hands over the Chevy to Ferdinand Kuhl in the lead after a hard but fair battle. Yeah, I had a lot of trouble keeping the Lamborghini behind, especially in the quick turns. That car's got more power and great balance. I had an understeer problem as well. I had to back off in the fast turns. That's normally where we get a bit of ground on the others, so I couldn't escape the Lambo. He did really well. He was right on my bumper. A couple of times I got away, then made mistakes. A shame really, but I guess that's part of my debut year. Frederick Jonker and Vard Slice had no result seconds after a poor time at Spa with engine woes. Around 20 seconds behind when the pit stop window opened, they were able to move up to third, but then bad luck. A wheel sheared off just after the Villeneuve chicane. The car was in the gravel and out of the race.
Geen idee. Ik kan maar alleen maar denken, er komt zoveel kracht op zo'n wiel en dat er met.
I've got no idea what caused it, said Vard Slice. I think probably just metal fatigue with the enormous forces on the wheels. That can happen. I'm very happy the car's got little to no damage though. Tomorrow's another race, a chance to make up for the points that we lost today. Our main goal was to score as many points as possible. It's our home track. I love racing here. And that's where we also entered in another racing series this weekend at Zolder. But disaster in the supercar race. Tomorrow's another day. Hopefully we'll be able to put on a good performance then. Into the closing stages, Super GT battle for second place. Roger Gras after that long pit stop all over the back of Nicolas van Dierendonck in the Corvette. Van Dierendonck having to soak up the pressure. He's unused to this, having started all the other races rather than finish them. Puts in a great defence to hold off Roger Gras. Henry Zumbrink, the leader of the race after the pit stops, is away and clear. So vital championship points on offer here for both the Corvette and the Viper teams. A good close race. Van Dierendonck doing a great job in defence. Roger Gras looking down the inside into Eerste Linkse, and he gets through. Henry Zumbrink wins the race. Quite a relief after disasters at Spa where he failed to finish both races. It's his second win of the season. 24 seconds ahead of Roger Gras, which means that Roger's 25-second results second penalty had a major impact on the race. But Gras does finish second in front of the Corvette drivers. That was his plan, to try and close the gap to the championship leaders. But with Van Dierendonck and Van Hooijdonk taking points for fastest lap and pole, the gap actually doesn't change. It remains the same. Big winner's Henry Zumbrink. He says, finally, after all the bad luck at Spa, we're back. Because we didn't finish race 2 there. We had no result seconds for the first race in Zolder. So I took it easy in the beginning. I knew I didn't have to take any risks. I'd have a big lead after the pit stops. And that's how it went. Pretty trouble-free win. Great victory for Davidtech Engineering in Super GT, and the same in GTB. Ferdinand Kool and Milan Doncher winning the race in their class, ahead of Simon Atkinson and Patrick Lamster Chris Coles. Revenge too for the Corvette drivers, who also failed to finish race 2 at Spa. With a 30-second margin of victory, their understeer issue seems to have gone. Ferdinand Kool says, we solved that problem. We've got 2 options when changing gear: be aggressive or be relaxed. Milan took it easy to save the engine, but taking it easy with Atkinson breathing down your neck is no longer an option. So I decided to push harder, change gears more aggressively, and actually it gave the car more balance as well. So on a hotter track, we've got to look at our tactics a little, but I think this might be the solution. Patrick Lamster and Chris Coles also on the podium, still atop the points table. They could have been second there if they hadn't had a drive-through penalty from mistimed pit stop. Patrick says, yeah, unfortunate miscalculation by the team, but these things happen. It's not easiest when you got 20 penalty seconds. Today we lost second place, but it's a long weekend, and tomorrow there's another chance to take our revenge for today. Coming up next, the second race of the weekend at Zolder. Championship leaders Van Dierendonck and Van Hooijdonk in Super GT, and Lamster and Coles in GTB once more come under attack. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, and IDIS High Definition Surveillance Systems. Welcome back to the Supercar Challenge powered by Pirelli at the circuit of Zolder in Belgium for the third round of the championship. The cars of the Super GT and GTB division rolling towards their grid spots for the second race of the weekend. On pole, Belgians Nicolas van Dierendonck and Jeffrey van Hooijdonk in this Chevy Corvette GT2. They also lead the Super GT Championship with 4 podium finishes in 5 races to date. But the Belgians have yet to win, so it's especially important that the car is perfect for the tight and twisty Zolder circuit. And that's the job of the Celleslach racing team.
De vleugel is een belangrijke instelling.
Well, the wing's the most important element here. Zolder, compared to Spa, where we drove last time, requires a different wing setting. The perfect setup balances the downforce you need for grip in the faster corners and the top speed that you want. And this is influenced by the angle of the wing.
Circuit Zolder is een circuit waar we eigenlijk minder...
Top speeds here at Zolder are lower because of the shorter straights. Top speed here significantly slower than at Spa. So we use a setup where the wing creates more downforce than it does top speed. In Spa, it's the other way round. Well, the same setup issues apply to the other cars on the grid, of course, but where the Corvette's wing maintains the same height, the wing on the SRT Viper actually is lifted up in the air.
Ja, het schijnt ongeveer 10 centimeter.
Difference in height around 10 centimeters. We use different mounts, so the wing's at the same angle and it just goes either higher or lower. So that's what this part does. And if you raise the wing, it gets clearer airflow over the top of the car. That generates more downforce and pushes the rear of the car down. That's what we want, and basically that's what this thing does. Well, the Viper's second on the grid. Henry Tumbrink, with the first race, is third. He lies fifth in the Super GT Championship. Next to him, the winner of Saturday's race, pole switcher and GTB Milan Doncha. He lies third in the GTB points. Points leaders in GTB, Chris Coles and Patrick Lamster. They're now only 3 points ahead of Englishman Simon Atkinson's Lamborghini Gallardo, though. There's a maximum of 22 points on offer for any race. 20 for victory, 1 for pole, and 1 for fastest lap. So with pole, Milan Doncha's already a point closer to the championship leaders. He lost a lot of points when he didn't finish in the second race at Spa. That was a round where there was a lot of damage, both in terms of crashes and mechanical woes. So here in Zolder, a much smaller grid than we're used to. With Milan Doncha, 2 wins already this year in Zolder. This is the view back from Roger Graus, who starts second. There's the Volvo of Henry Tumbrink in third place. Out of the Jackie Ick chicane and rushing down to the rolling start. So here we go with our GTB pole sitter. Looks like they're queuing up to get by the white and blue Corvette of Nicolas van Dierendonck. He stays on the inside being cautious. Round goes Roger Graals for the lead. Henry Tumbrink for second place. We're right behind with Milan Doncha. Corvette's third and fourth then. One in Super GT in front. We're in the GTB class leader. And another growling Corvette motor behind Barry Van Elk's ears in his Mosler. Simon Atkinson right in front. Patrick Lamster in the Porsche. Turning into the Lucien Bianchi corner. Using all the extra power of the Mosler, straight by he goes. Lamster also being passed by the Lamborghini of Simon Atkinson there for second place. Atkinson with 10 extra seconds for the pit stops. Has to get on with it nice and early. Most result seconds for Roger Graus, 35 in total, 10 more than Van Dierendonck and Van Hooijdonk, and 20 more than Henry Tumbrink. Tumbrink again only has to follow Melida. Frederik Jonker already up to fourth on the bumper of Patrick Lamster in the GTB race. The replay here shows the start. He dropped back to sixth place when Miguel van der Reyt was faster on the straight. Van der Reyt passing Hans Verhelst on the inside, and Eerste Links are moving up to fourth place. Jonker follows, takes fifth, and then dives down the inside into Starenvak Bocht, and that puts him up into fourth place in the GTB class. With the Corvette leading the category and the orange and black Lamborghini in second, the battle for third place then, Patrick Lamster versus Frederik Jonker. Lamster in the black and white Porsche, and Jonker right behind in the BMW. Up in the toe, down the short pit straight, looking to Eerste Links in this M4 silhouette. Trying to find a way by outside, inside worked well early on. Doesn't quite find the grip there, but Lamster drifts out a little wide, and through he goes into Canal Box. He's up to third place in the class. Roger Graals still leading the race in the Viper. Second place, Henry Tumbrink. All he needs to do is follow to the pit stops. But coming out of the first chicane, it all goes wrong for Tumbrink once more. Seems that he either wins or retires. 2 victories, 3 DNFs. Car with no drive. And that is the end of his race. Philosophical as ever, he said, the bad luck just never seems to stop. 4th time it's been against us now, and this time a drive shaft. It's a shame. Roger Graals able to build a lead over Nicolas van Dierendonck. Needed to be 10 seconds or more. Van Hooijdonk might be able to do quicker lap times later in the race despite having more worn tyres. And Graals with a big success penalty as well to deal with. Barry van Elk in 3rd place. But Van Elk unable to attack. His power steering has gone, and it's all he can do to hang on. Really hard work in the Mosler. Barry van Elk explaining the problem, he said, the team were working all night. Because of my height, it's impossible to get a perfect seating position, and my legs have been starting to tingle and I was losing feeling. And then the team decided to get rid of the problem once and for all, started cutting holes, removing bodywork in the Mosler to move the pedal box further up the car, and they had to take everything apart to do it, including the power steering. And 10 minutes before the race start, everything was ready, but it turned out the power steering wasn't working. An hour of racing then, just insane. I gave it everything I could, but I was losing feeling in my arms. I managed to finish the race, but I just couldn't attack. I'm wasted. Roger Graals comes in as the race leader, driving on his own this weekend after races with 2 different co-drivers. He's won twice and he's been on the podium every race except for round 2, where he was knocked off by a guest driver. So 4 podiums from 5 starts. That means he's got the greatest number of result seconds though, 10 more even than the championship leaders. So he really needs everything to go perfectly. He stays in the car, takes some fluids on board. Everything seems to be fine. Team making sure the tyre pressures reflect the temperature in the tyres. Unfortunately, as he leaves at full throttle, it turns out he is 1 second short on the mandatory pit stop time. And that means a drive-through penalty. It also means that Corvette driver Jeffrey van Hooijdonk will never see Roger Graals on track. The Corvette drivers look to be heading towards their first win of the season. Van Hooijdonk again setting the fastest lap time, and then he can back off the pace to look after the car. Better not back off too hard. Roger Graals pushing as hard as he can in the hope that something turns in his favour. Mandatory pit stops in the race between the 25th and 35th minute of the 60 minutes. A lot of result seconds for the top 3 in the GTB Championship. 25 for Atkinson and Donchenkool, and 15 for Lammers and Coles. None though for the BMW M4 Silhouette drivers, but they're 30 seconds behind when they come in for their pit stop, so any mistakes on track or in the pits could certainly help their cause. Very exciting at the moment, said Frederick Jonker. It's very close. We're just 5 seconds behind the Corvette. We're still a little low on engine power to be completely 100% competitive. I tried as hard as I could to stay close to the leaders, to lose as little time as possible, but I failed, so let's see what the second part of the race brings us. Well, trouble for Ferdinand Kool getting the car started. Loses enough time to allow Vaardsluis to be the new race leader, but only just. This is the battle on track now for the lead. Ferdinand Kool in the Corvette, right behind Vaardsluis in that BMW M4 Silhouette. The Corvette has a power advantage, the BMW a handling advantage. It's lighter, and with all the short straights and heavy braking here at Zolder, that's allowing the BMW to just keep its nose in front. The Corvette's caught, but passing might be a different matter. Passing troublesome too for Chris Coles in the white and black Porsche. He's in 4th place in GTB. In front of him, Guy Verheyen. Now he's a lap down in his Porsche. Not seeing any blue flags at the moment, so the car not that much slower either. Blue flags finally wave as Jeffrey van Hooijdonk comes up in the Corvette to lap them both, and through goes the Lamster and Coles Porsche. Van Hooijdonk taking his chance to get around between the two of them as well. So Vaardsluis in the GTB class lead in the BMW M4. Ferdinand Kool behind him in the Corvette. Vaardsluis hanging on desperately to this lead. The team went with a smaller engine in the M4, and that leaves them at a horsepower deficit behind. You can see Jeffrey van Hooijdonk coming up. Super GT Corvette is going to go by both of these two guys, but again, Straights are short here and the differential in speed is not that great. Squeezes by into the chicane, making no mistakes, doesn't have to push too hard. He and Van Dierendonck 24 seconds ahead of Roger Graals with a drive-through penalty. Well, once he's out of the way, Ferdinand Kool unable to take advantage of the lapping car, still behind Vaard Slice. So it's the first win of the season for Jeffrey van Hooijdonk and Nicolas van Dierendonck. They are absolutely delighted to take the top step of the podium at last. So was it the different strategy or the problems for their rivals that put them on top of the pile? Either way, I don't think they'll care over much. They have their first win. Just incredible, says Nicolas van Dierendonck. Finally on the top step of the podium. I'm so happy. Really had to work hard, concentrate to be competitive. I've still got work to do to be quicker, but to me this was a personal victory as well. Of course, the win's thanks to everybody's hard work. The team, the engineers, Jeffrey, of course. It's just amazing. And they get a maximum score with the race win, pole and fastest lap. They extend their championship lead by a further 4 points to a total of 11 now ahead of Roger Graals and Kelvin Snooks. Snooks returns next time out at Zandvoort. Last lap in GTB, final corner, Vaard Slice still in front in the BMW M4 Silhouette. And the Corvette won't be able to get through before the checkered flag. So although they're second, Kool and Dontje still finish in front of their main championship rivals. All in all, not a bad result for them. Hard work, says Ferdinand Kool, but that's what we needed for the championship. BMW M4's not a threat to us in the points at the moment. He was going really quickly. I lost most of my rear brakes, so I had to play it safe. I was watching closely what the Lamborghini was doing behind me, and we gained a few points on him because of the race result, but it was a tough battle. You can't win them all. If the car had been better under braking, I could have won it, but it was so hot, I just couldn't stay right behind, so I think this was the best option for us today. I'm very happy. It's been a top weekend. After their troubles in race 1, Vaard Slice and Frederik Jonker turned their fortunes around. Vaard saying it must have been the most fun race of the season so far. It was so hard. We know the Corvette's got great pace. You have to anticipate every move that they make. It's like boxing. You've got to be alert in every corner of every lap. Frederik did a great stint, keeping the tyres in perfect condition. That's what paid off for me. We both had to really get our trust back in the car after disasters on Saturday's race, so we had to reset our minds, fully focus on what we can do with this car. Had to keep cool heads. It was a real race. I had to defend hard. I think that's part of racing too, though. Great battle with the Davy Tech boys. Ferdinand Kool and Milan Dontje are the new championship leaders, 1 ahead of Porsche drivers Lamster and Coles, 2 ahead of Lamborghini's Simon Atkinson. So not a massive entry for the round at Zolder, but clever strategies could prove to be vital for the championship. And next time out, they'll be at Zandvoort in the DTM race weekend in the Dutch Dunes. We'll be back with the 4th round of the Supersport and Sport classes, also here at Zolder. Until then, bye for now. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, and IDIS High Definition Surveillance Systems.